Gosh darn it.
How are you? Happy New Year. Nice to see
Probably know the
you.
answer.
That's right.
Welcome, everybody. If you haven't got your lunch yet, please go get your lunch. We're going to get started in 10-ish minutes.
And how are you?
I am fine. How are you, sir?
Excellent. I was just on a Happy New Year. Just on a call with Carmine,
Oh, good.
and he didn't pay me, but I just want to know he's solid. He's great to work with. Yep.
Last call to get your raffle ticket. If you haven't gotten it, come over and do it right now because we're going to shut this thing down so we can breathe. And so we're over at the table. Get your raffle ticket. Last call. Come on over.
Yep. You're right on, though.
How you doing? Hi, Mr. President.
Stu, how are you?
Good to see you. Got a request.
Okay.
I've changed. Were you saying something
About your
What-
private zoo?
about my private zoo?
Yeah.
Okay, cancel that.
Okay.
Can you just change it to I'm searching for the meaning of life?
Okay. I can do that.
The zoo thing was possibly just a little too vulgar. But that's never stopped, not that it's ever stopped
Never
me.
slowed you down before, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
All you got to do is make us laugh and make us cry. That's all you got to do.
I'll make you cry.
Yeah, right. You got to introduce him.
Is he a new member? Or?
Yeah. And he already brought in another guy.
Yeah, I saw you.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that you were such a business. I've had to explain that to people.
Well, I'm trying to get people to say, no, we can make money. TDP bills us too, right?
You got to at least break even.
At least break
It'd be
even.
nice to have a little bit of that.
Just for like, depreciating assets to be those kinds of things. Yeah.
sir. Pleasure to meet you. It's your birthday? Yeah. Oh. Congratulations. Should I say mazel tov? Why do people say yes? Thank you very much. Did I ask how old you are or not? Anyway, somewhere between I'm not sure why.
So for the record, if I go on vacation, it will be. If I'm going to have some invasive medical procedure, I take you.
Yes, yes.
And that just seems to make sense.
He's for fun, right?
And you're for probing.
And I'm there to bear your burdens that you have with you, right? To be for.
That's beautiful.
Right, so, yeah. At least that's what I'm going with, anyways.
Good to see you.
Yep.
Don't screw it up, okay? One is a what? Not a big bag. I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself? Yeah, I trained with her. Thank you.
Yeah.
Found out what I made, but it was nothing like you made. Good to see you, Jan. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Past President Bruce. Welcome to the January 15th meeting of the Rotary Club of Tucson.
You know, I gotta say, I thought I was kind of royalty as the president of this club, but the number of people that have come up and kissed the ring next to me, I'm nobody, and I just thank you for confirming that. You can make fun of me once you, yeah. Mhm. I'd like to welcome up Dan Asia to do Pledge and Song. He joined our club September 5th, 2024. His category is Community and Social Services, Arts and Culture, Center for American Culture and Ideas. Went to Hampshire College, Yale School of Music. Dan.
And I taught at the University of Arizona for 36 years. I know you guys like the University of Arizona. What are we doing?
Say, I pledge.
Oh. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chris is going to do all, so we'll just stand here and just...
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Dan. You may be seated. First, we're going to start our past member and past president, Gary Gethman, passed away recently. He was a member of our club from 1986 to 2022. He was our club president 2001, 2002. We don't have any information on services yet, but please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Next, we have our inspiration, Dan Calm, cleanly shaven Dan Calm. He joined our club January 9th, 2020. His classification, insurance and risk management, State Farm Insurance, went to Oral Roberts University. Dan.
Well, today's inspiration is going to be kind of a funny story that I think you'll actually enjoy. So for the last 6 months, I've been out running 2, 3, 4, 5 miles a day. And I run down Camino Este, which is on the west side of the county, and it's kind of a busy road. The other morning, a guy was running down the side of the road, and he crossed Camino Este, and he kind of looked like Joe Biden, or maybe he was witness protection. He was a 70s, maybe 80-year-old fella, had on Ray-Bans and a velour jogging suit with a baseball cap. So I'm not sure what his name is. He crossed the street, and he came up to me, and he put his arm on my shoulder. And he said, "I just want to thank you." And I said, Thank me for what?" He goes, "I gave up running because I thought I was running too slow, but you've proven at your pace. You've inspired me to get back out and run again." So I said, "Thanks, I guess." And he crossed the street again and took off running. So I guess if you can't be inspired, be an inspiration to others.
Thank you, Dan. That was perfect. I think it's time for introduction of guests and visiting Rotarians. Going to welcome Chris Dodge. Whew, I mixed Dodge and joined and got Dodge. So he dodged our club February 13th, 2020. Entertainment music is his classification. Little thing called Tucson Jazz Festival, which starts on, I think, maybe Friday.
Yes, it starts on Friday.
So
Tucson
he
Jazz Festival.
is super busy, and I'm so glad he is here. And he also went to the University of Arizona.
Yeah!
Chris.
Little known fact, we have what could be the makings of a jazz band up here. I know we have two very qualified musicians to my right and a musician adjacent, even further down over there, who's not paying attention to me talking. Curtis is a closet saxophone player. And what I mean by that is his wife makes him go inside the closet whenever he pulls out his saxophone to play. But we do have really good saxophone players coming to the Jazz Festival. And Doreen is not in the room, so I'm not going to get fined. But what I do want to say is one thing before I introduce guests. I am crazy busy right now, as I know all of us are. And I haven't been in this room for a month like many of us have. And I said, like, you know what, I'm going to make it. I'm going to come here. And I can't tell you how much joy it has brought to me this morning, seeing all of you people here and greeting you. And it really has. So with that, it brings even more joy to introduce some of our guests with us. So I'm going to introduce your name, who brought you, and when I introduce you, please stand up so we can say hello to you as well. So, a guest of John Wong, say hello to Charles Sobolis. Hi, Charles. Guest of Marcy Euler, say hello to Kevin Barker. Where are you? Oh, Kevin's over there. Hi, Kevin. And guest of Roger LaFay, Gordy Cywerg. Hi, Gordy. Another guest of Roger's, Amy Wilson. Hi, Amy. Another guest of Roger. You're killing it, Roger, today. Mitch Hamilton. Hi, Mitch. Guest of Luda. This is McKenna Dundon. Hi, McKenna. Guest of Dan Asia, Casper Cavaleras. Hey, Casper. Guest of Larry Adamson over there, Samantha Bell. Hey, Samantha. Oh, I'm going on to page 2. You guys are doing your jobs here, folks. This is the greatest club in Tucson, and I'm so happy that you guys are here. It's an honor to have you here, and you're going to love this club. You're all going to join. Guest of Joe Danizowski, Larry Bodine. Hi, Larry. Another guest of Joe's, Tim Sultan. Hi, Tim. Sultan of Swing, another great jazz song, little known thing. All right, sorry. Guest of Doc Kret, Michelle Spetnagel. Hi, Michelle. Guest of Don Reiger, Joe Winfield. And I should have said Mayor Joe Winfield. Happy to have you here, Mayor of Oro Valley. And another guest of Roger LaFay, let's say hello to Greg Durnan. Hey, Greg. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. It's good to have so many guests and friends, and it's great to see all of you, but really good to see you today, Dot. Thank you for being here. Are we ready for a program? Bruce, did I miss something? Oh, it's great to see Past President Bob Logan. Is that what you're pointing at? Yes, thank you, Past President Bob. Always warms my heart when I see him or just even think about him. Next, I'd like to welcome up to introduce our program, Jonathan Rothschild, who joined our club December 3rd, 2020. Previously an honorary member since 2014. Attorney, trusts, and estates is his classification. Works at Mesh Clark Rothschild. Went to Kenyon College and University of New Mexico, right? Yeah, that's close enough. Past mayor, big fan of me? No, not been a fan of me. Jonathan.
All right. I'm very happy to introduce our guest today. As I was thinking about this morning, I've decided I'm not going to say how long we've known each other because that would be depressing. But I can say the year, and then you can just assume we met in kindergarten. I think I've known Jan since about 1971. We were both in high school together. We sort of were in similar circles. We did this thing that the YMCA used to do called Model Legislature. You still do? Well, god dang, get me in it. Because Jan was the Attorney General, and I was some sort of legislator of some note, I think. And so we did that, and we were also both in speech and debate. She was, of course, a state champion in extemporaneous speaking, something close to that. And they made me debate other people and lose arguments, which I got really good at. But I'm sure you all know about Jan, or at least if you read the Rotary website, you would. But real quickly, native Tucsonan, proud graduate of Tucson High. I'm not going to tell you the leadership position she held. I just want to see how many people even remember these places. She held leadership positions in the Tucson Economic Development Corporation, Tucson Community Cable Corporation, Warner Amex Cable. She had her own business, Lesher Communications. Around the turn of the century, she left the private sector to go to work for Governor Napolitano. She was the director of the Arizona Department of Commerce, which is now known as the Arizona Commerce Authority, a little different, but similar. She was Governor Napolitano's chief of staff. When the governor decided to move to Washington, D.C., Jan served as the chief of staff for the Department of Homeland Secretary, Janet Napolitano. At the time, the Department of Homeland Security had approximately 230,000 employees and a budget of $52 billion, which I understand is very similar to the current county budget. So, in any event, she did return to Tucson in 2010 after all that ended, went to work for the county, became an assistant county manager. In 2021, she was essentially required to become the county manager, is by far the most qualified person. We're really lucky to have in our jurisdiction someone of her qualifications to hold that kind of position. So let's give a warm Rotary welcome to Jan Lesher.
Oh, that's many fines being taken up here today. I think. Good morning. Thank you all. I was looking at the notes. I think I spoke with you all about 2 years ago and talked about some of the key goals that we had for the county at that time. And two of them I wanted to just touch base on because at that I mentioned a couple years ago that one of the real critical things we were working on was infrastructure. And that if you think back, I think the number one issue that was you heard a lot about at the county was just fix the roads. And what were we doing to fix the roads and making sure that that was a priority for us. And when I spoke to you then, I said we had about 1,800 miles of paved road. Today it's 1,950 miles. Indicated that we were on track to hit a goal for a pavement condition index of good, very good, by 2030. We're now at 2029. We've actually sped that up a little bit. We'd spent about $177 million and fixed 750 miles of road. Today, that's 915 miles of road, with targeted this year to spend $24 million and $26 million next year. So I think that we are keeping up on our pledge to fix those roads and to work on the infrastructure. One of the reasons that's important to me is I think, and I know the mayor can attest to it, other mayors as well, people often, I think, judge the government by the things that they can see externally. And when there's potholes or there's infrastructure or buildings are crumbling, it begins to look as if that government is not doing the job that they might do internally as well. So we really have tried to make sure that we're keeping that infrastructure up. And another piece of that, I think the critical piece internally that we mentioned 2 years ago was really focusing on the fiscal well-being of the county and the financial situation of the county. Our goal to be maintain our bond rating of a AAA bond rating. And we have done that. The things that we've done in the last couple of years, there have been some fairly significant policy changes that we made as we relate to our budget. And some of this seems very, very simple, but it's amazing that some of the things that we had just been doing, I guess, routinely, and now are actually making sure are part of our policies. One is a monthly, very public financial report to the board. So that the entire public can see exactly where we are. And we highlight any and every department that might be over budget, and we make sure that everyone sees where we are with our budget and our spending. We established a fund balance policy to make sure that we know how much of our of the about $2 billion budget we actually have loaded in a fund balance so that we don't spend that. There's lots of times you think you need it, but we've made sure that we've locked that into place. And then we've really looked at the vacancy policy. That has been significant. Again, it doesn't seem like much, but we have 7,500 employees. And when you have 7,500 employees, you find many departments have a few positions that they've sort of tucked away that they never fill, and that becomes the contingency budget, if you will, for those departments. So we have swept all those positions and made sure that departments are actually budgeted for what they need to spend. So a lot of that has really changed what we have been doing, and I think as we look at this next year, what's our big challenge, there was a while we were calling it the ARPA cliff, the cliff that coming out of getting all of those federal funds dealing with the pandemic. And I don't think of it as a cliff, because that to me suggests that we didn't see it coming and that we sort of stumbled into it, but it is an ARPA realignment, that you can't have an injection of $350 million in a 3-year period and have it go away and not have it change some of the things you do. And the reason many people have been coming up to say hello is that many of the people who came by today receive funds from the county and may not soon. And so depending upon how these policies change. So we do try to work with it. And I think we are simply one of the many. Those of you I know work with the University of Arizona, the city of Tucson, and others. And it's a time when everybody is tightening those belts as the economy's been changing. So I wanted to just touch base a moment on sort of where we were, I think, from some of the critical things I talked to you about a couple years ago. Two really highlights of the year, I think, in terms of some of the economics of what we've done. One is Mosaic Quarter. And I hope that you have all had an opportunity to hear from the folks who are building Mosaic Quarter. But it is about a $500 million investment that's going in down by the Keno Stadium in a private sector development. I think the first piece that you will see public is branded with the University of Arizona and hockey. But it was one of those really unique opportunities where we looked around, and Pima County had a lot of land in an area that didn't see a lot of development, didn't see a lot of economic opportunity for the people who either lived there or were benefiting from the tax rates in those areas. And that partnership has leveraged the land that we have with the private sector investment, again, of about $500 million. So an incredibly exciting opportunity, not the kind of thing that we have always done, but we're able to rely on the private sector to help us understand the intricacies of 16 interrelated documents and leases and agreements that had to come together for that. So stay tuned for that. And the other one I'll mention just briefly is the American Battery Factory. It's another $1 billion investment coming in to out by the airport and Aerospace Park. Another opportunity where the county had land, and now we have a multi-billion-dollar organization that will be breaking ground, beginning construction, and again providing some fairly significant economic opportunity in parts of the community that had not seen that before. So those are all the good news, and I wanted to just take a moment. I was trying to be brief so that we can open it up for questions as much as possible. What are some of the challenges that I think we're going to be talking about in the next couple of years? And I think there may be at least one person in the room that might agree with me. I think the number one challenge we're going to see in the next year is the evaluation and the re-upping, hopefully, of the Regional Transportation Authority. Important? Yeah. And I will. Some of you know me. I'm an eternal pessimist. I don't find a lot of optimism in many things, and I have a lot of chest pains over the future of RTA. And I think it's going to take everybody in this room working with the elected officials in whatever community you live or in unincorporated Pima County to encourage people to really come to the table and look at a regional solution. I can tell you from the county's perspective, we have been, as we've been negotiating over the last couple of years, we're now at a position where the county's actual share of the $2+ billion is about $25 million a year, which if you were to really look at the size of unincorporated Pima County might be more. If we just were to look at what the math is that should inure to the benefit of that section. But I think that along with some of our partners and the incoming chair, the mayor of Oro Valley, we're looking at how do we really look at this region together, and what does that mean, and how do we get the voters to trust us to move that forward. So that's a huge issue. Another issue I'll just mention, when we look at infrastructure, as many of you know, over the years, the county has relied very heavily on voter-approved bond initiatives for a long time. I look back to 1997. There were actually 2 bond issues passed that year, totaling just under $800 million in 1997 dollars. We went back in 2004 and in 2006, upped that by about another $150 million. And since that time have had almost no luck getting any kind of bond approved. In 2014, we passed a $22 million bond to build a new animal care facility. And we went to the voters with another $800 million request that was soundly defeated. We went back to look at some more infrastructure and roads in 2018, and that was defeated. So we are looking long and hard at Pima County about how and when it's time for us to see if we have moved forward with any trust in the community to see what we need in bonds again, and how do we pay for any of that critical infrastructure. So I think we'll be looking at that, but the reality is, how does that line up with RTA Next, and how do we ensure that we're not stepping on other critical problems that will be going to the community? I would be remiss if I didn't mention the concerns of homelessness, and what I think one of my greater concerns is what I see as a real criminal element that's almost using homelessness as a disguise, if you will, to be out on the loop. We spend a lot of time trying to take care of the loop. We now have to hire off-duty officers and vet techs and things like that to keep it patrolled, so that 150 miles that should be recreational for all of us is available and isn't where we have a lot of people selling drugs, using drugs, and knowing that that is where they can go to buy them. So a lot of work going on in that area as well, obviously. Sometimes I think the homelessness issue is almost the easier part of finding people who want to be housed, to find transition into a home. But we see more and more people driving to the loop and getting out of their cars and then engaging in illegal activity through the course of the day, but looking as if they are homeless. And that is something I think about. It's a cause we are all compassionate and caring, but that's not the issue that's causing the problems, I think, in our community. And also one that's going to take a real community effort, because I hear sometimes, oh, we don't have that in our area. And that to me is a whack-a-mole game. If we push down homelessness or stop things in one area of the community, we're going to see it pop up in the others if we don't work together as a region. Another critical issue there. And the last thing I'll mention is the influx we've had in our community of legally processed asylum seekers. In the last, since April of 2019, Pima County has received about $200 million from the federal government to work with individuals who are legally processed and transitioning through Pima County. We have always said that it is a uniquely federal problem, and therefore we will do it as long as there are federal dollars to support that. It is not the responsibility of the taxpayers in Pima County to provide that federal nexus and that support. And I don't know what the future holds in that. We are operating as if we assume that funding will end and that we need to stop that program. The reason we got involved as a county initially is that if there's not a facility to which Customs and Border Protection or ICE can take these individuals, they are simply released at the Greyhound bus station. And I believe that ultimately bad inures to the people of Pima County if we end up with 100 to 150 individuals a day simply released at the bus station, which is why we got in the business. And then there was a period of time where we were seeing in excess of 2,000 individuals a day. Back down to about 100, but I don't know what that's going to look like. And I know that I do believe the federal money will stop, and I think then we will be out of the business, and I don't know what that means in terms of how we work with our partners at the Department of Homeland Security and what that looks like. So I should have probably ended with better news, but I can make jokes about Curtis or Jonathan maybe, but that's, anywho, that's sort of where we are as a county, and I wanted to give a little overview of that situation, what our challenges are looking at the next year, and the kinds of progress I think we have made in the last couple of years. So I'm happy to answer any questions to the best of my ability. Yes, sir.
I'll get them right over here.
Sorry.
So we have mics.
I think I'm running.
Hi, Jan, thanks for coming. 2 questions. You can answer them whatever order. Number 1, how's Chuck doing, Chuck Huckleberry? And number 2, regarding roads, I don't know what the process is on how you find which ones you need to take care of, but I notice when you come back from the airport and you go up Alvernon or Palo Verde, it's brutal. And I just wonder if that's a message for people arriving in Tucson. Why can't those roads be looked at?
So my standard answer for the second part is that must be in the city of Tucson. So that's but we'll get back to that in just a moment. Chuck is doing fine. Thank you very much. As many of you knew Chuck, he was with the county for 41 years, county administrator for 29. Left work on a Friday, got hit on his bicycle the next morning, and suffered a traumatic brain injury. Some of you have indicated you've seen him out in events. I think he was at a women's basketball game not long ago. Doing fine. Still on a cane a little bit, but for a guy who was injured that badly, it's pretty terrific. So thank you for asking, and I will make sure he knows the club asked about him. And Bob, I think you're right. What we have been looking at is, as I mentioned, we have this pavement condition index. It's a mathematical way they evaluate the roads, and we have been responding to the need sort of worst first. I think when we look at so much effort in our economic development efforts and activities, when you think of all those businesses coming to Tucson and landing at the airport, and their first vision of our community, be it whatever jurisdiction it is coming in on those roads, I think we need to do a better job making sure we're focused on some of those first. I think back to when a few years ago someone said, could you go out and ride the route for El Tour and fix the potholes on the route of El Tour, which, again, seems pretty easy. And so we just moved it to Sarita, I think, is the way to handle that. But I mean, that's the kind of thing. We spend a lot of money to bring thousands of people into the community to learn about our community. How simple is it just to run that, ride the route and see if we can fix it and spruce it up. So ditto with our roads coming in.
Jan, whether
we are going to fix it. I'll write in the newsletter when we get it fixed. Okay.
Jan, whether or not the city sales tax is approved by the voters, is there any idea floating in the county for sales tax increase?
I float an idea in my head every day about a sales tax. So in Pima County, it would take a unanimous vote of the Pima County Board of Supervisors to initiate or to put a half-cent sales tax into place. We have Cammie is here, who works in Supervisor Scott's office. I'd say a motion to adjourn may be the last time we had a unanimous vote on things. So I am not optimistic about a half-cent sales tax. I'm just going to tell you, one of the things I look at is RTA Next is a half-cent sales tax countywide. It is exactly the same as a half-cent if the county were to initiate that. So I am trying to figure out a way of how could we look at things, what kind of guardrails could we put on it to guarantee the use of the dollars in that way if we needed to find another mechanism to make sure we're funding transportation. Yeah.
Right over here.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Jerry Hallowell. I live in El Encanto, bounded by 5th Broadway Country Club and Jones. 15 years ago, the streets were repaved. The potholes are worst right now. Is there anything to prevent me from filling those potholes myself?
Do you want to answer that? I'm going to phone a friend on this one, but that is in the city of Tucson. But But,
If it was in the county, what would you tell them?
no, call me. Call me. Yeah, so let's find a connection for you to contact. My concern is with liability and safety and a couple of other things. So let us get somebody connected from the city with you to see what we can do. Are you talking about roads within El Encano or outside on the adjacent? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the county doesn't really know anything, and everybody lives in the city, so.
Did you hear that?
There's a thing called ClickFix, by the way. I don't know, you have to be, ClickFix, you can actually take a picture of your pothole. It goes straight to the Department of Transportation. They line it up, and amazingly, they fix them. For El Encano has always been an issue. We actually have people in your neighborhood who don't want the potholes fixed. We've gone in there once and paved everything, and they were like, "Why'd you do that?" But the idea is, yeah, we can get you in touch with somebody at the city Department of Transportation. You can have an individual conversation, and they should be able to service something like that. You just have to have those communications.
Cammie she works in this department, so she could actually help a little bit more.
Well, close, right? I don't work for the city. I work for the county. Thank you, Jan. But just adding to the ClickFix, see ClickFix if you Google it. If you're a Googler, see ClickFix. There's county and city, and you put in your request, whether it be a tree, vegetation blocking signs, whether it's a pothole. We cannot be everywhere, so we depend on people in your neighborhoods putting in those requests to get things fixed. So, and yes, send a picture on the app. It's great. Then there's no question on where it is. And you can do that through those apps, or you can call 311 and they should be able to route you also.
Thank you, Cammie. Joe, he has a question.
I've had the pleasure to live in a couple places that have coordinated municipal government. Indianapolis and actually in Las Vegas, the city and county police forces have joined together. I've chatted over the years with the sheriff. He seemed to think there were actually some good coordination going between the sheriff's department and the Tucson Police Department. The libraries are another example. Is there any other talk of any other coordinated services? Thank you.
Yes, and I think one of the things that's coming back up for a conversation is if not consolidated, at least co-located courts. We did take, the county runs all the libraries at this point, so those did become consolidated. The management team of this county and the city meet fairly regularly, and that's what we've been looking at. And as simple as what's some of the back of the office, kind of what about HR or finance? Are there any economies of scale that can be gained? But what do we do with parks? And parks and recreation, and just some of those kinds of issues. Again, we built a very large facility downtown, believing that we would have some consolidated courts. Didn't happen, moved some things around. But I think sometimes the very first step is co-location, and then people begin to work together and talk together and figure out we're not as different, potentially, and then we can get into some of that real coordination. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jan. We appreciate that you're such a partner in our community, and we love that you're an honorary member of our club. You can come back anytime when we're having a meeting. Well, you can come here whenever you want, but thank you for all the questions, and Jan, thank you for taking so much time to answer questions. We really appreciate that. I do have a little book here I'm going to ask you to sign. It's called The Little Book of Government. And this book will go into the Make Way for Books library as we continue to support children's literacy in Tucson. And now I think it's time for some club business. I do believe we have a birthday boy. Is that true? Stu Goldman. His birthday is January 15th. Joined our club February 1st, 1984. He's in transportation, limousine service, retired. Went to the Ohio State University. You guys got a little game coming up?
You bet.
Little game coming up. Something you may not know about Stu, make sure I read this correctly. Pay attention, he is searching for the answers to life. Stu?
Yeah, Stu.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the sitting ovation once again, which warms the cockles of my heart. Now that I know where the cockles are, that's one less question that I have about life. But many people are concerned about the mystery of life, and they ask questions like, what's the vastness of the universe and what's the meaning of our existence? But I'm not into that. I'm looking for the smaller, less considered, less cared about questions of life. For instance, if you try to fail and you succeed, which have you done? If you're a vegetarian, are you allowed to eat animal crackers? Says, why does my garbage weigh more than my groceries? And one of the biggest is, what the heck was ever wrong with preparations A through G? I put it to you, And why do we park on our driveway than we drive on our parkway? And finally, when I step on the brakes, why am I putting my life in my foot's hands? I just don't understand these things. But one thing I don't wonder about is what validates truly my life. Today I'm 79 years old, and in scratching my head, I realize that now over half of my life has been spent as a member of this Rotary Club and of Rotary International. Rotary International is an exquisite organization of over 1,400,000 individuals on over 35,000. Give me what's the word? Clubs. I knew I had a use for you. Most adequate president. Yeah. But it's an exquisite organization, all with the simple common ambition to make this world a better place. This is this family that I've been privileged to belong to has been one of the prime validations of why I'm here on this earth. And I appreciate it, and I thank all of you. So have a good day.
Thank you, Stu. We do have the best club on earth of all 35,000 clubs. Perfect. And my goal is to always be adequate. Right? Getting close. Under promise, over deliver, right? And just lower expectations. Next, I believe we have an introduction of some new members. First, I'd like to welcome up the one and only Jen Hoffman, who joined our club, and Cliff, of course. Cliff Wood, not Cliff Hoffman. Jen Hoffman joined our club August 3rd, 2011. Service Industries Call Centers for classification. Contact One Call Center Incorporated. Went up to that school up north. No, not that one, Jimmy. Went to NAU. Club President 2020, 2021, and most recent car chair. And you have 1 week left on that job, right? Yeah? All yours.
I'm not looking for a promotion. Okay, today I have the honor of introducing our newest member, my dad, Cliff Wood. My dad is actually a Tucson native, born in St. Mary's Hospital, graduate of Pueblo High School. He grew up on a ranch in Vail, owned by the most decorated war hero of the Second World War. Does anybody know who that is? Anyone? Audie Murphy, yeah. That was a pretty cool thing for him to grow up around. He was riding horses before he could walk, which is why he participated on the NAU rodeo team in bronc riding and bulldogging. He actually qualified for college national finals. He was an active team roper up until a few years ago. Graduated from NAU with a degree in history and Spanish. Mi papá habla español muy bien. And he has been retired for a few years now, but has worked as a general manager at Walco International and other veterinary pharmaceutical companies, as well as overseeing the custom bow department at PSE, where he actually designed a compound bow for George H.W. Bush. Currently, he serves as a board member of the Tucson Village Farm and Santa Cruz Valley National Heritage Area. Another random fact about this guy, he actually had a speaking role in a Elvis Presley movie called Stay Away Joe. He is an amazing papa to his 4 grandsons and 1 granddaughter, and the best dad in the whole wide world, in my humble opinion. Please help me welcome my dad, Cliff Wood, to the club.
I don't know how I can follow that. Thank you very much.
And another new member, I'm going to welcome up Mitch Pizik to introduce this new member. He joined our club March 25th, 2021. His classification is Business Services, Business Consulting, Pizik Consulting Group. It's Pizik. If anybody wants to know how to pronounce it correctly, like Danishevsky, you just take a little practice, you can do it. Went to University of Illinois. Mitch?
192 days ago, our quite adequate president set up for us 16 key objectives and priorities. We've already accomplished most of them, but the most impressive and challenging one is we wanted to add to our beautiful Rotary family a world-renowned composer of contemporary classic music, specialized in operas, and we got him. When Dan was 9 years old, he wanted to play the clarinet, but his music teacher said his 2 front teeth were protruding too much, so that wasn't going to work. So then Dan started playing the trombone. Then he got braces, and that killed that. And that basically ended his musical instrument playing career. However, he then did go to college and grad school in composition and conducting. He then went to NYC after graduate school to seek fame and fortune, and that didn't happen there. Ultimately, though, he really did flourish. He won a boatload of awards and grants, including a German Fulbright, a Guggenheim and UK Fulbright Arts Awards Fellowship. He taught in London. He taught all over. He really is literally world-renowned. He then spent 36 years at the great University of Arizona, where he ran the music composition department, and he also was a composer in resident with the Phoenix Symphony Orchestra. He's a family of 3 gifted children and a beautiful artistic wife, Carolee. He's also the current president of the Center of American Culture and Ideas, which is a think tank. It's a really cool organization, by the way. It's a think tank promoting American arts and culture. And his new opera, he composes, his new opera, The Tin Angel, is going to be performed in New York City on June 28th and 29th. And if we could commandeer some of our 9 Rotary Club of Tucson Jets, maybe we could all go out in that. So I give you Mr. Dan Asia.
Just one quick question. Any other composers in the room? Raise your hand. I didn't think so. I didn't. It's a pleasure joining this club. I look forward to serving you and our community as much as I can. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Dan. Now we have a few blue badge presentations. To start, we're going to start with Marcia Crumwitty.
Hi, everyone. I am so happy to be presenting Amanda Wood with her blue badge today. She's completed all the requirements, and I am also happy to be her mentor this second time because she's been in the club before. So here you go.
And next, Lee Olitsky.
And I have the pleasure of introducing you to Anna Greif. or Greif?
Greif.
I know. When she's mad, it's Greif. A grief. A Greif. Anyway, Anna's married to Drew for 15 years, her husband. They have 2 sons, Joaquin and Luis. Joaquin's at Los Alamos National Labs, and Luis is graduating from the U of A this spring with a degree in chemical engineering. So he has two smart children there. Anne's bachelor's degree in business from the U of A, a master's in public policy from Carnegie Mellon U. I went there for 2 weeks. And doctor in education from Johns Hopkins. Anna.
Anna.
How many clubs are there? Okay. Anna has been the CEO of JobPath for almost 5 years. Before that, she worked in workforce development in our community, or in Pima Community College, I should say. Okay. And before that, she did entrepreneurship policy and program development for governments and universities around the world. Can we have an ooh? Ooh. Now that her kids are out of the house, they are ruled by their Yorkie Jack and miniature Schnauzer, Cassie. Anna and Drew love to travel, and when staying close to home, they take their teardrop camper around southern Arizona and hike, paddleboard, and kayak with the doggies as much as possible. Please give Anna a warm Rotary welcome. And my honor to switch badges. I have to get that one back, or you can't leave. Okay,
Good grief, Lee. It's Greif.
Curtis. Thanks, Anna.
It's Anna Greif. Anna Greif. Thank you, Lee. Mr. Dodge, isn't it good to be here? Aren't you glad you came?
I am.
Yeah,
and you see a backpack on me, so as soon as I do a couple things, I'm gonna.
Is that a parachute?
I'm gonna work out and depart and deploy the parachute and see what happens on the ground. Pull out your raffle tickets. We have a winner, and I've been told that the winning ticket is in 17 of your pockets right now. So, but I also have $91 at stake, so it's a big pot. Here we go. 7, 8, 2, 7, 6, 3. Diana wins for the 3rd time, or maybe the 17th time. To be honest, she also plays. You can't play. You can't win unless you play. I have $91 for you, and we did all the drawing over there in front of several witnesses. Rotarians, they're trustworthy. It's the King of Diamonds, so you don't get the big pup, but $91 isn't bad for the day. And there's only 3 of these Curtis heads available currently. And if you were to get one signed by him, I have the idea, Brittany has some more over there, that they could be worth more, because Curtis, do you have the slide on this?
We don't have time for this. Move along.
Okay, Curtis is Southern Arizona. YMCA continues to transform. I guess you guys have had a lot of stuff going on there, and a picture not quite big enough is sitting over here on the front page of the business section.
People do read the paper?
Yeah, that's what I've been told, and we haven't lost our ability to read yet in our country. But there's more. There's more, Curtis. Right here in Biz Tucson. And we know that this room reads Biz Tucson. An even better picture of Curtis Dawson. And I don't know if this is a typo, but it says Tucson's next generation of leaders.
When they say next gen, they just mean not baby boomer. That's all they said.
No, it's code for I don't dye my hair yet, quote. Curtis, thank you for doing the great things in our community. Do you have anything to say about these awards?
Let's move on to announcements.
Oh, but there's one.
I feel like I was set up because one of our members of our club, I should have saw it coming, but he talked me into having that article written. So I think maybe we should recognize Ken Cook for writing such a fantastic article.
Yeah. I did see Ken's in there, but we didn't clear it with you. But if you're okay, Ken. So and I saw him salute me. There is a picture of Ken Cook here as well. So thank you, Ken, for all you've done to help the YMCA as well as Curtis.
Is that like $10 or so? What are you thinking?
What are you thinking, Ken?
For me.
For you. Curtis wants you to pay him back for the $100 that he's giving to the club.
I got to pay Ken just for saying nice stuff about me.
You should pay him another $40.
So what? So I say.
Let's
say 50 for Biz Tucson.
Okay.
Let's do 50 for the
the paper.
top fold of the business, and then I will cover 50 for Ken.
Oh, look at that, 150. Look at that.
Is that good?
That's good.
I have not been in the club as long as Stu. But how many past presidents find themselves?
Find themselves. The good ones do. I don't remember what I had for breakfast, and I'm supposed to answer that question.
Well, so I find myself twice today. I've already found myself another time. So I believe in equity. So I think we all need to get even.
We'll all get there eventually.
So all of you get 3. No.
Yeah. I have another one, Curtis, and I'm gonna stop picking on you, unless you want to keep on giving us money.
Let's hold off on announcements.
Okay, we're gonna. Now I got one more fine to give. We have our illustrious former mayor, who is not just an up and coming leader, but he's been recognized as in the greater Tucson leadership 72nd Community Impact Award honorees, the Founders Award. Ooh. Give it up for Mayor Jonathan Rothschild.
Well, you're not getting the mic again, that's for sure. So, are you thinking, with this kind of recognition is?
It's a big award. That's big, Jonathan.
What I figured is, if Curtis has $150 for the club, I have $200. I'll figure that. And then, just real quick, Greater Tucson Leadership, if you have never been a part of it, their dinner is April 11th at the Casino del Sol. It'll be really nice. And the beautiful thing about it is, some of you may have been in it, it really does try to bring in the sort of under 45 crowd, and they spend a year learning about Tucson and all the various parts of it. And it would be a great place to recruit new Rotary members, that's for sure. And then we also created the Founder, this little thing to try to develop new young political leaders who might be a little more pragmatic, we'll just use that word, about helping out in the community. So it's a great organization. If you can be there April 11th, it would be very helpful to them. Not to me, that's for sure. Anyway, thanks.
Thank you, Victor. By the way, Curtis, we have found, and Brittany especially, that there's no shortage of great people in this club that are doing great things for our community. Absolutely. So we'll be calling many of you soon. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Have a great jazz festival. Announcements. They have been emailed out. They are on your tables. They're on the screen right now, so please read them. A thing that I ask all of us is please get engaged. If you're already engaged, lean in a little bit more. This club is incredible, and you are missing out if you're not being a part of all that we're doing. Next week is my favorite meeting of the year. It's the meeting where I would no longer be president. No, just kidding. Sorry, Dot, didn't want to scare you there. It is the meeting where we give out all the funds we raise through the car show. So it is my favorite meeting, always been my favorite meeting, so please make sure you're here. And it's your last meeting as car show chair, so you're probably excited about that, yeah. But our meeting is not going to be in this room. We're going to be on the other side of the TCC, so I'd encourage you to park in the other parking lot unless you want to go for a walk, which it's good getting steps in. It's a good New Year's resolution, but it's in meeting room 202 on the other side of the TCC. That'll be in the newsletter. We'll say it multiple times, and I can't wait to see who shows up to this room next week. Red Badge member selfies. Remember, we're asking you to take pictures with the Red Badge members, whether it's here at a meeting or at a social event, wherever. There are no pictures today, so makes me sad. And I'm looking at all of you. Let's get on it. Where is Wilbur? Wilbur has been traveling a tremendous amount. He had a fantastic time at our holiday mixer in December. Next picture, there's a picture of Wilbur keeping warm by the fire in northern Arizona with Leo Litsky. I heard it was a kind of a precursor to the team being on fire and winning so many games in a row. I'm not sure if there's any singe marks. Okay, we'll see. Wilbur, to stop the burning, went to Lake Havasu to enjoy the lights with Dorina and John York. Had a fantastic time. Wilbur also went to Death Valley with Dan and Karen Calm. And we love it when you include a picture of yourself in the picture with Wilbur. So if you want a Wilbur, please ask. He's traveled all over the world, and there's still time to travel with him before the end of the year, and we may auction them off at the end of the year to raise some money for the club. Remember, every Rotarian every year, we want to encourage everyone to donate. Our goal is to have 100% participation, so it's not necessarily the dollar amount, but at the end of the day, we want to have at least $100 per capita giving for the club. Next, we have Diana Medeiros, our service project December winner.
Yes, and I have a tip. If you want to win the raffle, you have to spend $20 every week. But Elle tells me if I put it in his bank, I would be getting a better return. We had 14 people tie this month for Rotary service projects. We have a lot of participation. In fact, for one event, we asked if that person wanted us to let the whole community know about the service project, and they said, no, we have too many people. So our club's amazing with the service that you're doing. You can see, well, the list is gone, but it's on your table, what service projects are coming up. So we just threw names in a hat, and the winner, $50 gift card, have a nice meal at North this month, is Ken Light.
All right, Ken.
Is Ken here? Okay, Ken, congratulations. Thank you, everybody, for all your service.
Thank you, Diana. We might be a couple minutes late today, so if you have to wrap it out, I forgive you. Joe DeChatelet, it's all yours.
Thank you, Curtis. I have a few minutes. Well, actually, I have less than a few minutes. I have to talk really fast, and then we're going to entertain you with the clip. And I'm here to represent our Legacy Society of the Rotary Club of Tucson Foundation. Very briefly, it only takes $10,000 during lifetime over a period of years, or as a part of a bequest at your death, to join us. We currently have 26 members. We'd like to have a lot more. We're having a great party in February, so please refer to your newsletter. It's got more info, okay? Thank you.
We can stand up here and dance if you want, whatever you want to do.
Oh my God, I think I'm dead. Yep, I'm almost sure of it. In fact, I hate organ music. And I sure didn't see this coming, because I thought I had so much more time to plan and finish things up. Look at me, I didn't even have time to change. Wait, did I pay my Rotary dues this month? Well, I guess I don't have to worry about that much right now. That's not my biggest concern. In fact, my biggest concern is my estate. I wonder how that's going to be handled. You know, I have a will, but I also know my loving, long-lost, distant relatives are going to come out of the woodwork and fight about what I really wanted to leave to whom. And what bones they don't pick over, I'm sure the government will be happy to take the rest. Well, it appears it's a little bit too late to worry about all of that right now. But I sure wish I had put just a little bit more thought into what I wanted my Rotary legacy to be.
So, this is what death feels like? Not bad so far, but I sure am glad I talked with my financial advisor about the Rotary Club of Tucson Foundation before I wound up here. I can truly rest in peace, knowing that in addition to taking care of my family's needs, I'm also continuing the good works I did as a Rotarian. even though it appears I won't be around to see them completed. But knowing that the funds I've left to the Rotary Club of Tucson Foundation will be managed by the same Rotarians I trusted while I was an more active Rotarian is a good feeling. And since my family has been well cared for in terms of my estate, I was even able to make the Rotary Club of Tucson Foundation a beneficiary of my life insurance policy. So under the circumstances, I'm feeling pretty good about being dead.
When your time comes, and oh yes it will, what kind of choices will you have made about your legacy? During your lifetime, you clearly supported Rotary and its mission. So why wouldn't you want to continue that support after you're gone? By designating the Rotary Club of Tucson Foundation as a beneficiary, you can support ongoing endowments for scholarships, community charities, or even international projects. But keep in mind you'll need to make those decisions before you end up here. So don't be like Arthur and shuffle off this mortal coil without leaving a Rotary legacy. Be like Martha and talk with your financial advisor to determine how you can continue the good works you did in life far beyond, well, whatever comes next. And remember, Rotary isn't just an organization you belong to, it's a way of thinking, being, and helping. So consider making the world a better place even after you're gone. Invest in the Rotary Club of Tucson Foundation while you're still breathing and continue serving the needs of your community from the great beyond.
Thank you, Joe. And please talk to Joe or go to the website if you want more information about the Legacy Society. We do have a couple Happy Jacksons. Nancy?
Is it on now? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
If you would like to buy one of these attractive long sleeve Rotary shirts, I'm going to be taking orders through January. So come on up and see me, and we'll get you ordered, and the shirts will be in February.
Thank you, Nancy. Brittany?
Hey, hi guys. So as you've heard, the Jazz Festival is coming up. It's 2 days away. It starts on the 17th, goes through the 25th. This is a great way to support local musicians, businesses, Chris Dodge, and all the great people that make this work. So go out and see some music and have a good time. I have another slide. I will be hosting the Tucson Jazz Festival burlesque shows. It was an honor to be asked to do that. I'm singing a song, so come out to one of those shows if you so choose. That's right at the end of the festival. Another slide. Chris Dodge and I are putting together a show, 2 shows, outside of the Jazz Festival on Valentine's Day. This is a 5 o'clock show. This is nice and romantic and sweet. So bring a date, come at 5 o'clock, and then go have something to eat afterwards. It's going to be fabulous. Next slide.
Oh, this
Valentine's
is 4
Day.
slides?
I know. Don't find me, though, okay? Don't find me now. Last slide is that we're also doing a show on Valentine's Day at 8 o'clock. It's a burlesque show. It's elegant. It's think Marilyn Monroe, think jazz music, live band, live dancers. It's going to be fabulous. So make a donation to the Jazz Festival, and I'll reward you with my songs. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have one last Happy Jackson with Mark Irvin. Right there, on your right.
I just want to do a quick shout out to Kim Adair and the Arizona Bowl. I think it's like so cool. I think it's so cool that the newest bowl is the number 10 ranked bowl as far as, we're in like number 10 out of 40 bowls as far as attendance, and that doesn't happen overnight. There's a bunch of people in this club that are involved, but I'll tell you, it doesn't happen without great leadership. Kim, thank you.
Congrats on a great bowl, Kim. And I'm sorry I didn't get to meet Snoop. What's up with that? Come on. Thank you all to our virtual guests for coming today. Hope you all enjoyed the meeting. Welcome to all of our guests. If you want more information about joining our club and joining the best club out of the 35,000 clubs there are, just ask. On your table are the cups. There's a QR code. You can donate the U of A and Pima Community College scholarships as we support students as they further their education. Thank you to our Pima County Administrator and honorary member Jan for being our program today. Love seeing you here. Let's see here. Happy birthday, Stu. Good luck on those big life questions. Welcome to the club, Dan and Cliff, and congrats on your blue badge as well, Cliff. And congratulations on blue badge, Amanda and Anna. Greif, not Grief, Lee, who's not listening. And next week, January 22nd, we're giving out I think Peter Bain would say we probably made some money from the car show. At least that's what he always tells me when I ask him. And we get to give out those checks next week, and the beneficiaries are going to be here. Best meeting of the year. So make sure you're here. We're going to be meeting on the other side of the TCC in meeting rooms 202. So make sure you're here. And now it's time for. First, I just want to say Happy New Year, and it's so good to be back in this room together with all of you. It's time to toast and adjourn.
All right, if you'd raise a glass to the dreamers, the doers, and the believers. May your passion ignite the world and your courage pave the way for a brighter future. Cheers to chasing your stars and making every moment count in 2025.
Cheers. Another one done. I'm on the downhill.